Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our Type 1 and Tech event. My name's Will MacLeod, and I work for Diabetes UK as our Head of Philanthropy and Partnerships. I'm not Dan Howarth, clearly, for those expecting him to be here today. I'm sorry that I'm not him. Unfortunately, Dan's really unwell and so couldn't make it. He's gutted, but he nominated me. Dan, if you're watching, we wish you well, and you owe me a brew or something stronger when you're back. So why me was the first question I asked Dan and the team who've organised today. Well, over the past months and months, many months of organising today, we've spoken to many of you, the Type 1 community, and all of you told us that it was really important that today features people living with diabetes, people who love someone with diabetes, and speakers who can give up-to-date clinical advice. And I'm here to tick that first box. I myself have lived with Type 1 and have done for 32 years. It's been quite a journey to get to where I am today, but I've tried never to let diabetes hold me back. Apologies for the family portraits behind that you can see on the slides. I guess this is a montage of me growing up. I suppose what I've always tried to do is just lead a normal life and help people living with the condition too, including my sister, who was diagnosed 5 years ago now with Type 1. So over my lifetime, and I'm sure over yours, technology has changed so much. And in some ways, I feel like a bit of a fraud opening today's event, if I'm completely honest, because although I use the pump and I'm hopefully soon to get a CGM, I definitely wouldn't describe myself as an expert in tech. But like you, I'm here to learn from our amazing speakers and the Type 1 community. And I suppose my experience of tech may be similar to yours, compared with the injections I took twice a day growing up as a child. Same dose, whatever I was eating or doing. Then the multiple injections with different types of insulin. I started to take just at that point when I was leaving university to go to university, which was interesting to say the least. I find my pump a godsend that I'm on now and have been for the last 2 years. I use it to take small doses. Often, if I'm spending the morning with my 2-year-old girls in the park, you can see in the last picture there, I can reduce my insulin if I'm going for a bike ride, or if I'm watching football with friends in the pub. I can fine-tune in a way that I've never been able to before. And the last 5 years, I think, has featured an explosion of tech. So there's more pumps. There's amazing CGM devices like Dexcom and Libre, meaning our fingers no longer feel like tea bags, which I, for one, think is great. It's been so positive, I think, for all of us. But I suspect you'd agree with me when I say that it still isn't perfect. I know we all get alarm fatigue, feel flustered and overwhelmed if our sugars are still all over the place. I get quite angry. I don't know about you. Sometimes it just doesn't all work out in the way that it should. Can't always get the appointments we need. We can't always get the tech we need. It's still a postcode lottery. That means we can't access perhaps what we should be able to. And from someone, a bit of a dinosaur like me that's been a diabetic for a long time, there's a lot of data to work through, isn't there? And sometimes that can be quite confusing as well. So whilst I think tech can be great, I would still say diabetes is hard and can still feel pretty relentless if you have it, or if you live with someone that has it. So I'm really pleased that today's event keeps it real, as requested by you. We'll hear from our speakers about emotional health and tech, well-being, their lived experience of using tech, and some very practical hints and tips, which hopefully will help you and your families. I think the needs of you are really at the heart of what we're doing today. This was designed by you for you, so I really hope you enjoy it. Before we kick off, I'm just going to do a little bit of virtual housekeeping, so you'll have to forgive me that. And the first and most important bit of that is to thank our sponsors, without whom we wouldn't be here, and whose devices I suspect many of us are very familiar with. So Dexcom, Abbott, and Insulet, thank you very much from Diabetes UK for your generosity funding today's event. Today's all about you and about our community, so please respect each other and be kind. Always be kind. You'll notice there's a chat facility as the event gets going. If someone says something you disagree with, please just let it go or respond kindly. We've got some moderators on board who will remove any inappropriate comments, but I'm pretty sure we won't even need them. There's also, one of the things we love to do as Diabetes UK is offer peer support and advice and get people talking. It's incredibly powerful, but we are mindful that this is a UK-wide event. So advice and options in terms of what you have may not be available to everybody on the call. So just be mindful of that as well, please. Some of our speakers are talking for the first time about their diabetes, brave enough to share their stories with us. So please show them some encouragement if you can and get behind them. They're a brilliant bunch. And if you'd like to share comments and feedback, there's a hashtag that you'll see on the slides in a minute. Hashtag T1 and Tech. please do tag us in your stories. We'd love to hear what you think of today. Last but not least, we can't answer clinical questions today, as I'm sure you'll agree this needs to be done with your own healthcare professional, but there will be some clinical information as we go through, and hopefully it's helpful. But in terms of your own care, that's best done with your own healthcare professional. There'll be a Q&A at the end, I'm told, and I look forward to that. So please consider just type any questions that you have in the chat, and we'll try and collect them as we go and answer as many as we can at the end. So please do use that chat function. Almost me done. I can promise I'm just about to hand over to our host for today. By the people's vote, Professor Partha Kar. Partha is a huge ambassador for us and the Type 1 community. He's the National Specialty Advisor for Diabetes with NHS England. He's been a consultant for many, many years in diabetes and endocrinology, Portsmouth Hospital. And he's an avid user of social media, for those that follow him, like I do, on Twitter, at Partha Kar. He writes a monthly blog for BMJ, personal blog, Sugar and Spice, Wish All Things Were Nice, which I must confess I haven't read yet, but will, and a podcast, Sweet Talking, again, which the team would definitely recommend. He's been co-creator of TED Talks, comics, and setting up Type 1 Diabetes Rise of the Machines, which is an event on closed loops and DIY tech. So you can see why he's hosting our event today. And it was your call. I think it's a great one. Thank you to you. And thank you to Partha, who actually received an OBE in the New Year's Honours list, I'm told, for services to diabetes care. Much deserved. Gives me great pleasure at this point to welcome you all again, to thank you all for joining, and to welcome our host for today, Partha Kar. Over to you, Partha.